Hey, what's up, guys? Got another new video here for you. This is Tune In Sports, back with another video, coming at you with the, what is it now, Week 6 football, NFL football review. Lots of happiness and just cheers and positive vibes going on after this week's set of games. And we're going to be breaking into it. My name is Bryson.
I'm Bennett.
Steve.
I'm Don.
And
we're all frustrated.
Yeah, pretty much. We got a bunch of dandies again this week. Obviously, if you guys want to hear the thoughts on the Eagles game, you got a couple of options. One of them is you can go check out the video that was just posted a few days ago. Me and Steve kind of broke down the game, as well as you get some additional bonus pissed offness with a little bit of chat about the Red Wings. But nonetheless, you can go watch that. Or
Can you define breakdown?
Yeah. The other option is you can go back and watch all of our other videos, because it was the same show that we talk about every single week with the Eagles. And, we're going to be talking about the same show with a handful of other teams here this week as well. So, with that being said, like I said, lots to be excited about. And thank God hockey season started. Because
for some people at least.
I was
still for debate.
I was going to say, kind of depends, I guess, on your situation. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and hop into it. There's only 2 games because, like I said, the Eagles played on Thursday, and then 2 of the teams played each other. The Lions and the Bengals hopped into some action today, if you want to call it action. Ended up being 34-11 was the ending score. Cincinnati pretty much walked in there and took the reins and didn't really ever let them go. Most of, Detroit ended up with 11, but a good portion of that was...
It was all scored in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was late in the game when it was kind of out of reach. I think at one point it was 20-0, if I'm not mistaken. With that being said, I'm not entirely surprised that Detroit struggled. I mean, that's kind of been their MO this season. They weren't expected to be much coming into the year, and I think
they're not disappointing.
Exactly.
right on cue.
Yeah, exactly. They're making the Vegas odds makers
look awful smart.
Look awful smart, and like they know what they're doing and stuff.
Well, except for that under wins, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's just kind of where the Lions are at this point, and until they can get some better offensive play and maybe a little bit more consistency out of the defense, and honestly, in just a lot of different facets of the game, I think that they're going to struggle and continue to struggle. So I'm not surprised that they struggled against the Bengals here today. And, I think in some respects, I think this team really is getting desperate for a win. I saw, the coach make some interesting decisions in terms of going for it on fourth down today. I think at one point they went for it on their own 26, which, the game was, it wasn't looking good for him by any means. And I think, he was just trying to look for a spark, try to get something to happen. And they did manage to convert at least one of those times, I know, but, they went for it on fourth down 2 times in their own end of the field. So, like I said, I think they're trying to make something happen, because at the end of the day, the team was just struggling today. On the flip side, though, if you're looking at it from a Cincinnati standpoint, you really need to take care of business against teams like Detroit if you want to, be around when the playoffs come. Teams that are considered contenders or wanting to contend, they're not sitting around, farting around with teams like this. they're taking care of business and moving on to the next week. And that's what Cincinnati did today. So good for them. A lot of positives on their end. And as far as the Lions are concerned, a lot of work to be done. And,
it's not gonna get any easier for them.
No, it's not going to get any easier for them. They've got a really difficult schedule, as we've talked about before. And it's tough sledding right now. Things that are not going right for them just are really not going right for them, and they've suffered some tough losses this year. So hopefully they can find a way to bounce back and put a more competitive effort out there than they were able to this week, and especially in front of the home crowd. I'm sure that was kind of deflating for a lot of the fans, because even though Cincinnati is getting better, I wouldn't think that they would have played so poorly. So it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, like I said, what can you expect? They're a sucky team.
The fans are used to it.
It's been going on.
It would be
for
more
years.
shocking if they were actually going to win the game than it is to have them struggle. That's one thing that the fans are accustomed to, is watching Detroit lose games. So nobody's surprised by it. Kudos to the Bengals. They played well today. Pretty much dominated every facet of the game. The offense is mind-numbing as far as how boring it is and how they can't move the ball. And Goff was not very accurate with the passes. And then when he was accurate, then he's got guys dropping balls. No separation. And like I've said already on more than one occasion, we're out there with second-string talent against these teams. And to me, it's not going to get better. I mean, so you fans of Detroit, you might as well buckle in and expect to go 0-17, because that's what we're looking at. You cannot win with this talent. I don't care how good the coaching is or isn't. You're not going to win games. You can't. When you don't have talent, you don't have guys that can get separation. The offensive line, which is supposed to be good, is not very good. Everything that I've heard, read, seen, whatever, has not been good on the offensive line. Nobody is impressed with Sewell. Like, that guy's underperforming, getting beat on plays. They had him over at whatever he's not used. Like, he played, I think, right tackle in college, and now they moved him to left tackle. And I mean, it's obviously a struggle for him to get used to whatever's going on there. And it's not all his fault, I realize. It's a team game. There's enough blame to go around in every facet. I just watched the conference the coach had, and this was the first time I've seen the guy pissed off at a conference. And he wasn't happy at all with the level of play that was put out there on the field. And this is my whole fear, is that this is why I think we may go 0-17, is because eventually you're not going to get the effort from these guys. Eventually they're going to know it's a losing cause. And so we got a ton of players out there on one-year contracts, and, what should be motivation so that you can, if nothing else, be impressive so you can get a contract with somebody else. But, I mean, I can totally see this shit show going 0-17. Now the positive out of that would be, hey, we got the first draft pick again. Right? So, yeah, that'd be wonderful. Like, we can, another pick in the top 5. Right? So, but the thing is, I mean, we're going to have like 10 picks or this or that. And, I mean, I knew when these guys took over that it's not going to be overnight. It just can't. We have too many holes. We let too many people leave that were actually talented to be able to weather this storm. This is going to be a shit show all season long. And the fact that we've been as close in games as we have is kudos to the coaching staff for getting us prepared to compete. But today was a perfect example of probably the start of the end of what's going to be like. because today they didn't come out, they didn't compete, they made every mistake possible, and when you see that, I mean, it's only going to get worse. And the coach can stand there and say, yeah, we're going to look at everything and we're going to do this or do that. Guys are not going to give a fuck, because it doesn't matter. You can't shine shit. And if you don't have talent, you're not winning anyways. It doesn't matter. You can't compete at this level with these guys that you got to compete against. Cincinnati has way too many weapons to be out there with these second string players playing defense. Way too many. The defensive line, not good enough. Pass rush, not good enough. You give a guy like Burrow time, he'll pick you apart and beat you. I mean, no run defense, no nothing. So, I mean, to me, it's a moot point about anybody thinking that we're winning games this year. If we win one game, it'll be a miracle. I'm serious. And then I hear all this talk about, put David Blau in. David Blau wasn't going to do anything that Jared Goff isn't doing. It's going to be the same show. Trust me. Because it's not just Jared Goff. As much as Jared Goff isn't playing well, he's not the problem. He's a piece of the problem, but he's not the major problem. You don't got any receivers to throw to. You don't have anybody blocking. I mean, what are you going to do with that? I don't care. You could have Aaron Rodgers back there. You ain't winning any games. You can't. You need help. As this guy, number 9, that's fucking winning games over in LA now, was a perfect example of it. He's winning games because he has talent around him. He was in Detroit, no talent, no wins. Same thing.
Oh, the question is, how did he get wins there?
Right.
That should be the bigger question.
Right. That tells you exactly, I mean, would we have maybe won a game or two by now if he was still the quarterback? Maybe. Possible. But not a guarantee by any means. But Goff is, I'm not going to throw the towel in on the guy. I think if you present it, give him some weapons to throw to in a stable running game, I think he's more than adequate. I think he could play. But, that's just a little too much to ask. And for everybody to be ready to hang the guy with a noose, look at the big picture, man. There's no talent on this team. 80% of these players are second-string players that are on this starting unit. So that tells you if they're second string, just imagine what the backups look like. And we're seeing it today. Run out of the building at home. Can't even fucking put a touchdown on the board until it doesn't matter. And that's only because it was prevent defense. So they were able to move up and down the field. They obviously took some notes from the Philadelphia coach, like, hey, just let him walk on down the field. So, obviously the Cincinnati coach learned something from that guy about what it's supposed to look like. Right?
Yeah, Detroit's defense, whether they were trying to or not, was implementing a similar strategy to Coach Gannon.
Yeah. I'm all aboard with what they're doing as a whole. Like, I totally see why we need a culture change, and I think these guys are the right coaching staff to do it. But these guys are kidding themselves, and Coach Campbell's kidding himself if he thinks that he's got the answers on this team right now, because they're not there. The only answer you're going to get is an L in the column every week, and that's going to tell you that you don't know very much if that's what you think, if you got the answers on your team, because you don't. We do not have the talent, and we won't have the talent.
And he's in a tough spot because he can't come out and say all these guys suck.
Right.
Because then he automatically loses the locker room.
Right. No, he can't. So. He's got to say he believes in these guys, like he likes the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
When the reality of it is, he came from the Saints. He knows what good talent looks like. So it's not like he's blind to it, but he can't say anything. He's got to be in there and going, hey, yeah, this is wonderful. Meanwhile, we're watching fucking Marvin Jones Jr. go off over in Jacksonville, catching all these passes and all these different players that have left, and they're doing fine. but for another team. So it is what it is. I'm frustrated, but I also understand that the process is what it is, and we're going to be bad probably this year and probably next year. I think you said it when one of the videos. It's probably a 4-year process to get up where it needs to be. And I do believe that they can do it. I do believe that this coaching staff can do that if they can keep people and get the talent. But I am just, anybody that thinks that we're signing up for a bunch of wins here they're living in dream world, because it ain't happening. And it's going to be a lot more of the same for the rest of the season. And next week, when they go down to L.A. and get to see Mr. Stafford, my guess is that they're going to get lit up. So, whatever it is, it is. So let's move on. Kudos to the Bengals. They played well today. Very good sign for them. They needed to come in, like Bryson said, come in, take care of business, and move on.
No, especially with the Ravens coming up next week, we needed to come out there and have a dominating win. Because the Ravens looked like untouchable today against the Chargers. I mean, Chargers looked like they weren't even on the same frickin' level. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was about ridiculous the way the Chargers came out and played. But yeah, it's a good sign for us to come out and have this kind of a performance. Just because, I mean, after losing last week to who was it? It was
Green Bay.
Yeah, after losing in the fashion we did to Green Bay, I knew that the guys were going to be coming out with a chip on their shoulder. After the way we lost last week, and they came out and proved me exactly right. Mm-hmm. Had a dominating win in pretty much all facets of the game. So, I'm pretty proud, and also it was pretty cool to see that Burrow is in a rare list. He has 2 touchdowns in each of his first 6 games as a second-year player, or first or second-year player. The only other one to do that is Dan Marino. So that's pretty cool, and hopefully he'll continue to just play the way he has been, because for the most part he's been balling out. So good for the Bengals. Look forward to next week, and let's move into the next one.
Yeah, it was a tough win for the Bengals today. To only be up by 10 points at halftime, it's not really that great against this team. I mean, and the Lions had a chance to pick them off and did other things. I mean, it wasn't, that dominant. You know what the scoreboard looks like. There's issues on that team. Mm-hmm. Not this again. I know everybody wants to start anointing this team right away, but they're still not there. It's a solid win for them, and they did what they needed to do with it. But very similar to like the Broncos, once you start playing people, weaknesses get exposed, and that's exactly what my team did this week. Just looked horrible out there. But no, Cincinnati did what they needed to do, took care of business, and the Detroit, it's a mess. It's just rough for them to get anything going. But there is things there. Like you said, there is lack of talent. But they have to be almost pitch perfect every time they come out. And any little crack or any mistake or missed opportunity gets magnified tenfold. Mm-hmm. Where other teams can actually overcome those hiccups and things like that, where this team can't.
Such as the teams they play against.
Yeah, that's on there. So, like I said, just to see with it, it's just, I don't know. It was it's hard to. I mean, this is like one of the first games I actually watched a full game on. And then, like you said, going forward on fourth down inside your own 30, that's not. I know the analytics say it's okay, but to me, it's just not winning football with it, because you can cause yourself even more damage, as exhibited by my team today too. So,
Yeah.
that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. It just, absolutely. Well, with that being said, I think we'll go ahead and move on here and get into your team, which, had a real dandy of an afternoon, playing against Vegas this week, at home, which just kind of adds to the salt in the wound, I guess, if you want to call it that. I think as far as the Broncos are concerned, they managed to get to 24 points, but don't let that deceive you. It was an Eagles performance. It was a Broncos of the last 5 years performance. It was I wouldn't necessarily say the Lions of old, but the Lions of this year performance, where just offense struggled. One thing led to another. The rest of the team started struggling. And then you had Teddy turnovers going on. But, at the end of the day, I don't know how much you can really put that on him. Obviously he didn't make some throws that he should have and made some throws that he shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, he was just trying to make something happen because the offense was struggling. He was getting hit almost every single play. The play calling was...
Is 17 not good? 17?
No, 17
hits?
17 is rivaling Carson Wentz type numbers.
That's not good?
No,
Oh.
not generally. So, but
losing it is.
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is that, I think there's a lot of things that just with a little bit of tweaking could be a lot better on this team that just aren't. And I'm sure you'll hear it all from him, so I don't need to spend a lot of time on this, but this is not something that I have never talked about before. And, I talked about last year that I thought that keeping the coach around another year was just kind of delaying the inevitable. And that's the way that I saw that.
You didn't see me cheering when they resigned him.
No, exactly. And I really honestly felt that was a mistake, and that it was, like I said, delaying the inevitable. Where did we really think that even with, changes being made or whatever you want to call it, that we were going to see a 100% reinventing of the wheel product on the field this year? The honest answer is no. And so, with that being said, I think maybe they had an opportunity to restart and bring in a fresh set of eyes to the situation and just try to figure out something else. Because at the end of the day, you can talk about, oh yeah, we got this new guy and we got rookies here and rookies there, but we're looking at the same issues that we've seen the last handful of years. And I think that a lot of that starts up top. For instance, running the football, they weren't doing that consistently or even really trying to do it consistently until, you're down by 17 points in the fourth quarter. All of a sudden we bust out 3 runs in a row. It's like, what the hell is this? And so, like I said, game planning is not good. Decision making is not good. It goes without saying that those 2 challenges that Fangio threw out there were horrendous and unnecessary. And, then we're sitting there listening to the post-game press conference, and he's saying, oh, well, I just felt like at the time, those were really big plays and something needed to happen. Well, what didn't need to happen was you calling a freaking challenge that was never going to win and costing yourselves timeouts that will essentially take you out of the game later.
Yeah.
That's
the only thing that cost them was 2 challenges and 2 timeouts.
Yeah, exactly. So in essence, what he did was cost them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's sitting there talking about, well, I felt like we needed to make something happen. Well, you made something happen, all right. You effectively took any chance at a comeback out of the possibility because you're not winning with one timeout and that stuff. Even with 3, it was going to be hard. But I mean, it just, like I said, it just from the top down, it's just crazy. And it would be different if we're looking at a different story. But the truth is that we've seen this every single week, and we've gone on record and saying that's why it's so frustrating, and we air our dirty laundry about that every single week. But it goes without saying that when you're sitting here listening to a press conference with this guy or with the players and saying, oh, that's on me. And that's not just with the Broncos. That's with the Lions and the Bengals and the Eagles. Oh, it starts with me. I got to do a better job in getting this team doing that. Well, it sounds great, but how many of us are sitting here on a weekly basis talking about what happened in our loss? You know what I mean? Every week we're sitting here talking about, well, what happened in this week's loss? And generally, it's the same thing. So at the end of the day, if you want to, gain some confidence from the team and stuff like that, how about you start by watching the tape? There's a crazy idea. How about you start by making the adjustments that you talk about in the conference? Instead of saying, oh, maybe we should run a little bit more and stay committed to it, how about you actually do it? How about you come out with a game plan that doesn't involve just ridiculous calls, and when you do the right thing, it's at the wrong time. So, I mean, like I said, he'll get into plenty about it, and I'm only scratching the surface. But like I said, I think it really starts with the coaching staff, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that I just think that maybe some of what's happening is that the coaches, some of the players are just kind of falling on deaf ears. You listen to Teddy talk, and he says, oh, we don't have this going on in the locker room where everybody's pointing fingers and stuff like that. But if I'm a defensive player and I've been there for any length of time, how are you not pointing fingers? Because this is what you're seeing every single year. So you can say that, like, oh yeah, well, they may not be saying it to your face, but I guarantee you there's some stuff going on in the locker room when, you average 7 points in the first half and you're getting taken out of it before the game even starts when you play a real team. So, they can say all they want about, oh, it's not causing any dissension in the locker room and stuff, but my honest opinion is that I think that it's probably at a point where it's almost beyond repair unless somebody else takes this ship over. And that's why, like I said, I think Vic definitely needs to go, and they need to go a different direction with it. And then at the very least, they need somebody else calling the plays and trying to change things, because otherwise, basically you're going to be looking for a new quarterback. And hopefully it's Rodgers or Watson or somebody like that. But if it's not, then you're really going to be in trouble, because it's just going to be more of this. So, yeah, really, really disappointing for the Broncos. And, like the people online said, they got out-coached by a guy that wasn't even expecting to be coaching this week. And that tells you everything that you need to know. I mean, it just really, really bad, and a lot of blame to go around, but it starts up top. And the coaches always say that in the interview, but I really mean it. It starts up top. There is no, oh yeah, well maybe, no. He needs to get his shit together. So, anyway.
Yeah, no, great performance by our team. Again, lose to a fucking special teams fucking coach that gets the call on Tuesday and he says, hey, you're the coach of the Raiders. Unbelievable bullshit that was completely done today. Typical fucking game manager bullshit from Teddy. Well, guess what? You get behind, guess what you're going to do? You're going to fucking lose because you don't have you have a game manager. You got to be in the game to manage the game. So when you're fucking behind, you need people to make plays. Well, Teddy's not making plays. But that's the same bullshit we do with Locke. Locke sits there and he makes plays all right. Fucking pick sixes and turnovers. So there's no out with this right now. So that's not good here. Again, Shermer, complete loss of the running game. Doesn't fucking use it at all. Next thing is 4th and inches, and we're in a fucking shotgun again. Who in the fuck's in their right mind? It's a half an inch. Goose the fucking center and fucking go forward. Like you haven't seen Tom Brady for the last fucking 30 years fucking do this.
Yep.
It's not like it's the worst play ever. There's nothing to be done. You know, it's just unbelievable what this franchise has become in the last 5 years. Went from the fucking penthouse to the outhouse real fast. And it's in a fucking turd sandwich right now. And there's got to be changes that's got to happen. I don't know who, what, when, where, but this thing's going to fucking end. And I don't know by Thursday. I don't see it getting any better. Because you got to go to the, doghouse, the dog pound, and see what we can, come up with that freaking performance. I'm sure it's going to be just as good as the last ones we've had for the last 5 years. We're definitely on our way to our awesome 5-11. We'll probably this year probably be 5-12 since we have the extra game. So I don't know what's going to happen with this team, but there needs to be changes, and it's just a lost cause. I mean, it's embarrassing to get walked on a week that you needed to win against your rival.
Yeah.
To actually get your ass handed to you. I know they made some bullshit catches, bullshit throws, luck shit happened, but that's football, right?
Yeah.
It happens. But you got to be able to actually get in the game, though. Have it mean something to you. It looks like these guys are already for the off season. It's like they don't even give a shit. I mean, PS2, he's out there fucking picking his ass. Noah Fant gets fucking touched. He's down on the ground. Can't fucking block. If he makes a block on this one play, it's 6.
Yeah.
But he fucking whiffs.
Yeah.
It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So again, it just comes to again what we've said for eons now. It seems like that it's up top, and as what Bryson said, but it actually goes above. We need an owner.
Yeah.
We need a fucking owner. We don't need the fucking Pat Bolin trust fund babies that don't know what the fuck they're doing. We don't need those people. We need actual owners. We need an Elway. We need a Manning. We need people that know fucking football, that knows how this works. And get those in the positions. And then we're worried about the head coach. And again, unlike, Detroit, we have talent.
Yeah.
There is no lack of talent on this team.
No.
We have more than abundant talent on this team to actually win games.
Yeah.
But what do they come out every week? They look like a mid-rank, low fucking team.
Uh-huh.
And it's horrible. So, that's my 2 cents on this shit subject.
No, unfortunately, I can just all too well relate to everything that he just said. I mean, obviously my team has been shit forever. It's frustrating too when you think you have talent and then not to use it, in an effective manner. Like you said about the running game, to just abandon the running game when that's really a strong suit. And it used to be the strong suit of that team. The running game is really what allowed them so much success in other areas. Mm-hmm. And it's always been a staple of the Broncos. They've always had pretty good offensive lines and stuff like that, to where running the ball was always something you were going to have to deal with if you were a team coming in there or just facing them in general. But it seems like they're kind of doing the Eagles thing where, we probably need to run the ball more, the coach is saying, right? And well, you're the guy making the game plan, dickhead. Yeah. Fix it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it, but we won't actually ever do anything.
Yeah, well, then the game plan that they're running is getting them down by 14, 21 points.
Yeah.
And that just wears thin on all players involved, especially defensively. Because they're like going into it, going like you just said about the Lions earlier, where you almost have to play perfect football, mistake-free on the defensive side in order to even have a chance to win the game.
Yep.
And, I mean, Denver's got, they got some rookies in areas, playing and whatever. So, I mean, mistakes are going to happen. But, I mean, when you're getting no output from your offense, it's kind of a moot point. It's like, the hell, they can't play perfectly. But yeah, it's just.
Well, I mean, even today, I mean, Darby was out there on, No Clue Island. I mean, he was, pretty much gasoline, just lit him on fire. I mean, he was just toast.
Yeah.
Even Simmons, I mean, on the first touchdown pass, which again, this is the third, I think, opening drive with a large bomb straight completion against them. Again, basics, right? What's the safety? What's the safety's object? Safety. In the event, be the last guy.
Yeah.
And he's not even. I'm gonna make pulling a Raheem Moore against the Ravens. Yeah. What are you doing? 11's gonna go deep. What does Ruggs do? He doesn't do anything but what?
Burn.
Run down the middle, right?
Fly back.
I don't see him run any, elusive or intricate or, patterns, do you? No, what does he do? I'm running straight down to the other end.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? You play deeper, right? But, again, it's just that's coaching, right? If I'm sitting here telling you, hey, Simmons, you should back up a couple yards.
Yeah.
Why can't the coaches go, hey, maybe we should back up a couple yards just in case this guy goes, off the chain?
Yeah.
It's just unfathomable that this happens. But again, sport.
Yep.
Go team.
It's the pleasantries of being fans of our teams.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say on this, just because everybody else has pretty much said everything. I'll just say tough game for the Broncos, and I like the uniforms. That's how we'll do it.
Yeah, that was nice seeing the blue uniforms. Back in the days where we used to win.
Win with a
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, it just, like you said, it really is truly frustrating. Like you said, I mean, I really can't say it any better. And I say the same thing for my team, is that it's not a situation where I look around and say, boy, we need help here, we need help here, we need help here, we need just, draft at every position and we'll be doing just fine. We have a lot of players. Well, if we're not trading them away, thanks a lot. But anyway, if we're not trading them away, we have a lot of players. But here we are looking at the same, thing, and especially on offense. It's like, man, when I'm watching the Broncos play, I mean, I'm seeing people making catches and, weapons all over the field. At receiver, they got a handful of different guys doing stuff. They got running backs that Gordon last year struggled with fumbling, but at least when I've watched him this year, he seems to have cleaned it up at least a little bit. Not saying he's perfect, but, and then that other running back that they have, I've been really impressed with him. Obviously the offensive line, I think in some respects, every team could use at least some help at the offensive line in terms of depth. So I think that's an issue that you could never... you're never going to say, wow, our offensive line is just perfect. I think you could always benefit from some help in that department. But nonetheless, and then tight ends, Noah Fant, for as good of a catcher as that guy is, definitely, like Don said, he's celebrating Halloween.
He's that bad in blocking.
He's celebrating Halloween early. And he's celebrating Halloween as a ghost every time it's a running play or he has to lay a block on somebody. It's just not good. So, but I'm just saying, they've got talent in these areas, and yet you wouldn't know it by watching. And, like you say, a lot of that is game plan. A lot of that is coaching.
Well, again, it also comes down to game situation, being aware. Like the Teddy Bridgewater thing, 1st down and 10. He goes and he squirts out. Well, guess what? Just slide. No, he goes, I'm going to go airborne, and then he gets the ball punched out.
Yep.
Why even leaping up at 1st down?
Yep.
Like I said, if it's a 3rd down or a 4th down, okay, maybe I'll give him a break on that with it. 4th down especially, right?
Yeah.
But this is 1st down. Take the 3-4 yards, slide.
Yep.
You're done. Yeah. Live on to the next play. Nope. Turnover.
Yep.
And then again, between Williams and Gordon, 21 attempts with rushing.
Mm-hmm.
Both were averaging 5 yards a carry. I take 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
2 rushes, that's what? That's first down.
Yeah.
So why are we even considering this? Of, starting it out with it. And again, with the team, you don't need to get into a shootout because defense normally is going to take care of it.
Yeah.
Grind clock. Beat their defense up to a pulp.
Mm-hmm.
But nope. Coaching again.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can get into a shootout with everybody. No, the team's not built like that.
Yeah.
No.
You have a game manager, run the ball, defense.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, if you're letting them, if they're scoring 34 against your defense, that just means the defense is on the field too much.
Yep.
Because that defense shouldn't be giving up more than 17 a game.
Yes, exactly.
At the most, 17
Normally
points.
they don't. But when you turn it over, midfield, go for it on 4th down in a shotgun at midfield,
Yeah.
guess what? That gives the team, they're all in, especially in Denver, they have to go 10 yards and they're in field goal range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
No, exactly.
So
Yeah, and meanwhile, 49 attempts passing for good old Teddy today.
Yeah.
And I
he
wouldn't.
shouldn't be doing that. He should be max 30.
Yeah.
Max.
Exactly. It's like they almost don't understand the identity of the team. Like they don't realize that they don't realize the issues that we see every week. It's like, oh no, we don't have that problem. We just air raid.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, right? They're down receivers. They've been hurt.
Yeah.
Judy's out. Hamler's gone for the year. You rely on your running game then, right?
You would think.
Which should be that's their strong point. And it's let's start throwing the ball around with everybody like everybody else. We can't do that.
Yeah.
You don't have the equipment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's like Rocky's fucking management, right? What's the one thing we need? We need pitching. Huh? Hey, how about that batter? He looks good. Why?
Yeah.
It doesn't help.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what it is. And like I said, when we're talking about tuned in sports and all the teams on this channel, for the most part, we talk about these things every week. So if you enjoyed listening to us getting pissed off over it, tune in next week because we'll be talking about the same issues.
Yeah, I can't wait for Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Except for this week, he gets to have his turn early instead of me. Yeah, it just, it's very deflating as a fan to watch this week to week, and it's very hard to see any amount of changing going on, or, especially like where the Eagles are concerned, where we got a new coach in there and, a new direction and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like one to me. I'm watching this and I'm saying, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm in the same whirlwind as last year.
Well, it's just like anything else, right? If you're going to make changes or whatever, at least look like you're trying to do something different.
Yeah.
At least make an effort to say like, oh, okay, we got blown out, or hey, that didn't work. But you know what? At least you gave an effort to change it.
Yeah. Instead of, well, we're going to live or die by the screen pass.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's like, yeah, let's, drop Teddy back. No. You don't need to drop Teddy back because that shouldn't be Teddy's thing.
Yeah.
The only time Teddy should be dropping back is if he's doing a play action pass, right? Fake the run. Guess what that does? Suck everybody in. Then Teddy can make the pass, right? No, he's not Aaron Rodgers. God damn, I wish he was, but he's not.
Yeah. No, exactly.
He can't make those plays. He can't make those things because that's not him.
No. And you think the Saints were having, when he filled in for Breeze there, you think they were having him run the same offense that Drew was running? No. They're like, okay, how can we...
Well, they ran him with Ingram
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the Ingram and
Hill.
no 41
Oh yeah, Kamara.
Kamara, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You leaned on him, and then guess what happened? Well, then there's Colston. There's everybody else that's down the field wide open.
Yeah.
And then they let the defense play, right?
Yeah.
It's no secret formula, that you deal with, and that's with any team, right?
Yeah.
Burrow's 100% more effective. Guess what? When they have a running game, right?
Yeah.
When the running game's effective, guess what happens? Easier passes, correct?
Yeah.
And people are open. But when that doesn't happen and everything goes on the shoulders, you get in trouble most of the time.
Yep.
Right? Not to say that, it's not perfect. I mean, even Big Ben, right? Ever since he hasn't had a running game in the last 2 or 3 years, guess what? His deficiencies have shown up really big.
True.
So.
Yeah. But, like I said, with all that being said, it was real exciting to watch all this this week. Starting with that beautiful performance by the Eagles on Thursday, and it just continued on as the day went along. The nice thing is that, we pretty much had a game at every time slot, so we didn't have to sit here and say, oh, man, well, because I was busy watching the shit show with the Eagles, I didn't get to watch the crap show with the Broncos.
Yeah.
No, we got to watch the whole program with the Eagles. We got to watch pretty much the whole program with the Bengals and the Lions. And then, just when we thought, oh, man, we're getting kind of full, then we got stuffed by the Broncos. So it was just a full palette going on this week.
Yeah.
It
all tasted like shit.
Yeah, exactly.
A shit sandwich.
I was going to say,
It was a shit sandwich.
we were there at the McDonald's drive-thru at 3 o'clock expecting ice cream, and all we got were some cold fries and, a
Disappointment.
a week-old burger. So, but anyway, like I said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you tune in next week. It'll be pretty much the same situation as we talked about this week, and lots more to complain about, lots more to get frustrated about. We're only in week 6, even though it feels like we've endured a full season already. We're still only in week 6, and we'll see what happens next week. But with that being said, guys, I'm Bryson.
I bet it.
I'm Steve.
And I'm done.
See you guys in the next video.
See you week 6.